They show some pretty good numbers for the Occupy Wall Street movement. How do New Yorkers feel about that movement compared to the Tea Party movement?
Well, there's no comparison. Look, New York is 2-to-1 Democrat over Republican in enrollment, and we see very similar numbers. When Sienna asked voters, would you, if you had to join one of these two movements, would you join the Occupy Wall Street movement or would you join the Tea Party movement? By a margin of 49 to 28, voters say they will join the Occupy Wall Street movement. 16% of voters volunteered to our callers. I don't want to be a part of either one of these movements. But we also asked favorable, unfavorable about Occupy Wall Street, and it's slightly favorable, not overwhelmingly, like 49 favorable, 38 unfavorable. But when we asked about Tea Party, 2-to-1 unfavorable. And I think perhaps the most surprising result for me was when we asked people their view on Wall Street, not Occupy Wall Street, Wall Street, which employs tens of thousands of people, produces so much of New York City and New York State's revenue. Only 24% of New Yorkers have a favorable view of Wall Street compared to 67% who have an unfavorable view.
So does this suggest that New Yorkers seem to blame, for the economic problems that we continue to have, do New Yorkers blame the federal government, state government more, or do they blame Wall Street, major financial institutions more?
Oh, I think the anger is mostly directed at Wall Street and the big financial firms. Look, and there's anger for the federal government, both the Bush administration and the Obama administration. There is just frustration and anger at the fact that we are in the third year of a devastating national recession. The economy is not doing well. People are concerned about their jobs, their neighbors' jobs, their friends' jobs. And I think that's what Occupy Wall Street is tapping into. It's not so much the issue coming out of Occupy Wall Street, because there is really no single coherent message coming from the protesters. But what I think they are doing is tapping into New Yorkers' anger, frustration. This is really hitting people's emotions more than it is hitting them on a particular issue.
But still, with Obama, there are good numbers for him in New York. He's still expected to win this state unless something very strange happens. Absolutely.
Look, New York has not voted for a Republican for president since 1984 when Ronald Reagan ran for re-election.
And he swept nearly every state.
The president is not doing particularly strong. Again, when you consider that New York is a 2-to-1 Democratic enrollment state, the president's numbers are not overwhelming. He's got a 55% favorability rating, up a few points from last month. His job performance rating, how people view the job he's doing as president, is nearly 2-to-1 negative, so people are not impressed with the job he's doing. When we ask, are they inclined to want to re-elect him or would they prefer someone else? Virtually 50-50, divided down the middle. But the bad news for the Republicans is when we match up the three leading Republican contenders for the presidential nomination right now against Obama, he beats Romney by 18 points. He beats Kaine by 26 points. He beats Perry by 27 points. So unless the Republicans find somebody else, it doesn't seem like the Republican candidate for president is going to carry New York next year.
And it's probably too late for that. Is there, though, a concern for maybe down-ballot Democrats that a lack of enthusiasm could result in a lack of turnout?
Well, I think Democrats are always concerned about that. But look, next year is a presidential election year. There's going to be a very clear choice between President Obama, re-electing him, or the Republican alternative, whoever that may be. And I think you will see, a large presidential year type turnout in New York, which generally in New York benefits Democrats more so than Republicans.